It's called Dyslexia by Jennifer Moore Molinos. Learning how to read and write. This year at school, I'm going to learn how to read and write. It is going to be so much fun. There are so many books I want to explore, especially the ones about dinosaurs. So far, I can make all the sounds of the letters in the alphabet, but sometimes I still have trouble putting them together and figuring out the words. I get all mixed up, and whenever this happens, I get mad and I just want to give up. But then I think about all the dinosaur books I want to read, and I keep trying. It gets very confusing. I feel sad. As each day goes by, I still am having trouble reading. Sometimes I feel so sad and I pretend that I'm sick just so I could stay home. Why can't I be like the other kids, and why can't I read? I try hard on all my work. I like going to school and I like seeing my friends, and I try really hard on all my work. So yesterday when my teacher stopped by my desk to ask to speak to me, I was scared. She was worried about my work and she said she wanted to meet with my mom and dad to talk to them. Now I don't know how I feel. The next day during the meeting with my mom and dad, they were finding out I had a lot of trouble reading and writing. My teacher said she wanted to do some special tests so she would know how to help me. Maybe there was a reason why I had so much trouble learning to read and write. A few days after I finished talking all my tests, I found out I had dyslexia. People with dyslexia have trouble understanding sounds within words, which makes it difficult to learn how to read. Often people have problems understanding what they hear, like following directions and putting things in the right order, or remembering how to get sounds and words together to make words. They also get confused with the directions of the letters, like B and D, and in reverse, like words like tip and pit. Some people with dyslexia have difficulty handwriting and trying to write down their thoughts. Dyslexia can be cured, but it can get better with lots of help and practice. At first, I was scared, but my teacher explained that having dyslexia just meant that it would take me a little longer to learn how to read and write. It didn't mean that I wasn't smart, and it didn't mean that I couldn't be good at other things. It meant that I just needed a little extra help and hard work, and I could learn how to listen and read. Ever since I found out I had dyslexia, I've been getting extra help at school and in my home. At school, I'm in a special class with other kids who have problems just like me. The teacher uses special programs to improve our listening, reading, and writing skills, and at home, Mom and Dad give me many fun activities to help me get good results. It took so much practice and hard work, but now my reading's getting better, and I don't feel so sad anymore. I don't even remember the last time I pretended to be sick to stay home from school, and those dinosaur books I always wanted to read are even better than I thought. My teacher is showing me all kinds of tricks. Today my teacher read some poems in class. I didn't know poetry could be so neat, and I loved it so much that when my teacher asked that we could make our own poems, I was very excited, and I couldn't wait to show my teacher all the poems I was going to write, especially the ones I could write better. Even though I had to use a dictionary to spell many words in the poem, I didn't get as confused as I did before. I didn't want to give up either. It took me a few days to write all the poems, but I had so much fun doing it, and it was so helpful when I used my computer to write. I don't have to worry about my handwriting. It's so easier to correct my mistakes like spelling. When I began school, I was very scared to read in front of the class. Sometimes it was so scary that I'd hide behind the person in front of me and hope the teacher wouldn't pick me to read. But not anymore. I can't wait to get my poems to read to the class, and I wasn't as worried about making mistakes either. I read in front of the entire class. After I read a couple of my poems to the class, everyone stood up and clapped. They really liked them. My teacher said I had a special talent for writing poetry, and she couldn't wait to hear the rest of my poems in my poem book. I have dyslexia, but I can live with it. I have to work harder and practice longer so I can learn how to make poems and read and write, but it's all worth it. I feel so much better about myself, especially now that I've learned a special talent. Maybe one day I'll be famous, like Albert Einstein, Leonardo da Vinci, and Walt Disney, Beethoven, and even movie stars like Tom Cruise and Whoopi Goldberg. They all have dyslexia too. It's called dyslexia.